Still scoreless after the top of the first. We'll take a look at Northwestern's lineup. Pretty standard for the Wildcats. It's the normal 9. Avery Garden DPing, but how about Izzy Cunha? I mean, she has been fantastic of late. 344 batting average is second best on the team.
She's had multi-hit games in her last 2 games. Those were at Rutgers, and she finished the weekend with an over 700 slugging percentage, over 600 on-base percentage, and she reached base in 6 of 9 plate appearances. So she's definitely someone who's looking to continue that success today in her second series.
And in the circle for the Badgers, I mean, we talked about Lauren Boyd, obviously, for Northwestern, the ace, the player that Northwestern really leans on, but Gabby Salo is kind of that same type of player for the Badgers. I mean, over 100 innings pitched. I mean, she's been fantastic.
She is absolutely a workhorse for this Badgers team. Same with Boyd. She leads the team in ERA, 2.89 ERA, 13-9 record when she's pitching, but that's honestly just a day in, day out thing for her. She's pitched in 6 of the Badgers' last 7 games, and as I mentioned, is someone they just keep going back to when they're looking for success.
Salo did struggle against the Gophers. Appeared in all 3 games against Minnesota, 4.59 ERA, a 1-1 record, as Nito lays off strike 1.
She'll face the classic 1-2 slapper punch for the Wildcats with Nito and Nader.
Nito, 4th on the team in batting average, but a player that just puts the ball in play, has really mastered the art of the infield single. High off speed, ball 1. See the stat line for Nito there, 323 average, the OPS at 776. First of those 2 home runs came against Cal earlier this season. That was her first game batting leadoff. Bunts down the first base line, and she's going to beat it out. Throw got away from Crane, who was covering the bag, as Bark had to come in on it. And Northwestern, I mean, it just feels like this offense, it's not always pretty, but they just find a way to get runners on the base paths.
And that's exactly Kate Drohan's style of play. Just see here, lays down the bunt to the first base side. Bark tries to rush the throw, and that's what happens when you're facing someone who's so fast. And Nito and Nader both, Nader at the plate right now, both have that speed that makes the defense create errors, makes them make mistakes, and that's exactly what these Cats are trying to do.
So Nader will dig in here, launches a first pitch strike on the outer half. Salo going to have to dance around some magic on the base paths. Nito has the ability to steal bases. His back-to-back Big Ten series with 3 stolen bases. So 6 stolen bases in the last 2 Big Ten series for her.
But as we mentioned when she was at the plate, the catcher for Wisconsin, Emmy Wells, has been really great in caught stealing. She's 3rd in the Big Ten in runners caught stealing. She's caught runners 10 times already. And she's someone who you're definitely going to see her face down against Nito, against Nader, against Abasado, these fast runners that Northwestern has.
Nader in an 0-2 hole. Pops one shallow right field. Trying to find it is Crane. She drops it. Going to throw on to second base. So Nito out at second. Nader will reach. Kind of a wacky start to this bottom of the first. But the wind, I mean, it is blowing and circling. It feels like it always here in Evanston. But definitely had an impact on that play.
But, I mean, you see it here, just a pop-up, and that honestly is what's going to be good for both of these teams, just pop-ups that drift in the wind. You mentioned the wind, Adam, but it's honestly unbelievable. You see those flags flying in the distance, the wind coming north, the field going out west, but the wind is really blowing in, blowing to the right, and we're going to see that definitely play an impact on the game.
So here's Avasado. He's been Northwestern's hottest bat all season long, leads the team in average, 1st on the team in hits, 2nd in RBIs, 3rd in OPS. You name it, she's done it.
Also someone who's such a great person to have in the 3-hole. She's yet to strike out in conference play, Adam, which is just kind of a ridiculous stat considering that Northwestern is in their last home conference series.
Yeah, this is Avasado's 60th plate appearance of Big Ten play. No strikeouts in the first 59. 1-0 in there for strike 1. Evens the count.
Just great plate discipline from Avasado. She looks so comfortable. Despite being a first year, she's stepped in a big way and just looks like some of these other seasoned players that play here under Kate.
4 homers, 26 RBIs. With that first career home run at the J against Loyola Chicago. Pops one up and foul behind home plate.
She was just a little ahead of that ball there. Looked like that changeup threw her off a little bit. Her bat was already out in front of it, had to slow down her body, and that's when you get something. She's just trying to foul it away. She's trying to make contact, and that's what makes her such a good hitter that is really not that prone to strikeouts because she's able to foul off the ball when it's not a pitch she likes and wait for something that she does like and then drive that.
The 1-2. High and away for ball 2. And you mentioned that the changeup for Salo, it's a pitch that she really utilizes. It's a really good changeup with some late break that fools hitters.
Especially Salo's someone who has some speed, and so that changeup is even more effective as well against hitters.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Avasado. Slapped foul. We'll do it again.
And Avasado doing the same thing, as I mentioned, just fouling off those balls she doesn't like. That's something that you'll see a lot of the whole game and the whole series from Northwestern. This plate discipline is something that Northwestern is absolutely great about. And Kate Drohan and Carol, they really drill that into their players. But Avasado, a prime example of that, hasn't even been here a year and does a really good job of picking the pitches she wants, fouling off the ones she doesn't, and waiting for something that she can drive.
Didn't have a hit in the second game against Rutgers, as Avasado lays off the breaking ball for ball 3.
And that's a hard pitch to lay off. That's something that looks like it's going to be a meatball right there. But the plate discipline and the amount that she's played, you don't see every first-year layoff of that. But she's so poised at the plate and has played so much this season that she knows to leave that one in the dirt.
So payoff pitch. Nader over at first. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Avasado, good eye. She will walk for the 5th time in Big Ten play. Still no strikeouts in conference play. 60 plate appearances, 5 walks, no strikeouts. Pretty impressive stuff for the first year.
That's a ridiculous stat line. I was really afraid that when I first said it, I was like, uh-oh, like, did I jinx it?
Yeah, you gotta be careful sometimes.
I know, but how do I not mention that stat? It's so great.
So Kansas Robinson will have 2 on, 1 out to work with. Robinson, the first baseman, is, as we mentioned, coming over from second base, now first base this year with Nito in the lineup. She had an interesting midweek game against UIC. Northwestern won 11-0. But Robinson didn't technically record an at-bat because she walked 3 times. It's career-high tying 3 walks for her.
I mean, it's lovely for the on-base percentage. She's now at an almost 600 on-base percentage in her last 7 games. So obviously the walks have something to do with that. But Robinson also just a core hitter on this Northwestern team.
The 1-0, low and away for ball 2.
Looks like Sato's losing control a little bit, and not in the sense where she doesn't know what she's throwing, but she's really trying to throw out of the zone to these hitters. Northwestern does such a good job of taking the bat head to where it needs to go and going with the pitch that they're given. And if Northwestern, as you mentioned, 3 walks, she's obviously seeing the ball very well. So if Salo's not giving these hitters what they want to see, they're just going to lay off. And so Salo needs to throw in the strike zone. But the problem with throwing in the strike zone against this purple and white team is that they're going to crush the ball.
Saw the 34 RBIs for Robinson. That leads the team. And how about 26 of those coming in the last 16 games? I mean, her bat has been so hot in terms of driving in runners home. It's got 2 on the base paths here with 1 out. Salo deals the 2-0, up and in for ball 3.
At this point, Salo just wants to take a deep breath, reset. You saw her catcher walk out to her Wells there. Just say, hey, calm down. We can do this. Obviously, 2 runners on, and Kansas is a great hitter. But at this point, with 1 out, Wisconsin just needs to settle down, hope that Salo can get Kansas to ground into something and get a couple outs.
3 balls, no strikes. Robinson taken all the way, sees strike 1. Got to see Bridget Donahue on deck. The dangerous power hitter leads Northwestern's lineup in home runs.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to load the bases for, the team you're facing for their power hitter and their home run leader to come up.
3 balls, 1 strike from Salo. Robinson lifts it over the infield, trailing to third base, and Blomberg makes the catch. So 2 down now for the Badgers as Salo navigates through Robinson.
Tough at bat there from Kansas. Obviously was looking, thought she was going to walk, and then just hit a pop-up. That's hard because with the wind today, a pop-up can actually be really effective. But when you have 1 out and 2 runners on, you really want to get that ball out of the infield. You want to give your runners the opportunity to advance. So that almost is equivalent to a strikeout in that situation. That doesn't help at all. That doesn't help your runners.
As Bridget Donahue digs in, launches a first pitch strike.
And you've already mentioned that changeup, Adam, and the fact that Salo goes back to that, but goes back to it there when she's having trouble finding the strike zone, really centers back around that changeup, that core pitch, and is a great first pitch to throw Donahue off before she's seen Salo's real speed.
Donahue didn't play in the midweek against UIC. Big swing and a miss there. Goes back to the breaking ball.
Just a great job slowing down that ball. Doesn't slow down her motion, and that's what's so deceptive. Sometimes you'll see a pitcher slow down their motion to slow down the pitch, but Salo does a really good job, and that's why her changeup is so effective, because her motion's the exact same speed, but the ball comes out slower.
0-2. Driven towards right field. Slicing, it stays fair. That'll score 1 as Avasado will hold at third. An RBI double for Bridget Donahue and Northwestern on the board 1-0 early.
And from Donahue, that's just a great piece of hitting. Waiting for that ball, driving it out over first base. And obviously, you saw the spin that she had on the ball off her bat, but also the wind, the way it drew there. See her swing at this ball right inside, just takes it right over the first baseman's head. Bart can't quite get to it, Crane can't quite get to it, and Donahue takes advantage of her speed, rounds first, knows that the infield's going to be throwing to the plate, and takes second on that.
Donahue now with RBIs in 2 of her last 3 games, as Izzy Cunha might be the hottest hitter in Northwestern's lineup right now. Her active 3-game hit streak coming in was the longest on the team as she watches a first pitch strike.
And back to that changeup again. It looks like Salo, that's really what she's giving these hitters. She's starting with that. So if I'm a Northwestern hitter, as soon as I'm retired or as soon as I score, I'm going back into the dugout and I'm telling my teammates, first pitch change every time. Look for that. Be prepared.
0-1 to Cunha. Just chopped foul behind. No balls, 2 strikes.
Cunha also has reached base safely in 9 consecutive games, and as we mentioned, leads the team in average in conference play. So someone to really look out for here. 18 RBIs, 1 home run, OPS almost at 900.
Yeah, that 9-game reach base streak, also the longest active streak on the team, as Cunha spoils another one.
Spoils it, but is just swinging the bat so well. You see how fast her hands get around. That's something we talk about a lot in softball. Quick hands. They're so important, especially when you're so close to that pitcher, when the pitcher has speed. Cunha, a great example of quick hands, gets that bat off her shoulder and right to the ball very quickly.
Salo trying to limit the bleeding. It's just 1, but Northwestern knocking on the door with a couple more in scoring position. Good eye by Cunha to lay off. I mentioned those last 9 games as well. I mean, her batting average up 43 points in that span. Now sits at 344, was just a hair above 300 at 301. The 1-2, spoiled again.
She's definitely caught fire, and being able to foul off these pitches, she's definitely seeing the ball really, really well. But only has 7 walks in the season, so is someone that usually fouls things off and then wants to put the ball in play.
7 walks, 10 strikeouts on the year. Just 4 walks and 3 strikeouts and 45 plate appearances in Big Ten play. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Salo at the feet for ball 2.
And we're talking about her on-base safely streak, but you think about how impressive that is, especially if she's not walking all the time. Usually when players have an on-base streak for so many games, they're walking a lot, but Cunha's doing that with her bat, not just with walks.
Salo readies the 2-2. 2 outs, 2 on. Cunha into right center field, base knock. It'll score 2. Northwestern up 3-0 as Izzy Cunha continuing to be so effective at the plate. 4-game hit streak for her now. And how about a 4-game RBI streak? Back-to-back games with multiple RBIs.
That's a really good piece of hitting there by Cunha. Takes what is given to her. That's what these Northwestern hitters do so well. You see that ball lower in the zone. She reaches down, goes for that outside corner, and is just able to lift it right out. Not like it was that wasn't there much power behind that hit, but it was placed exactly in the right place to get those runners in, and that's what you need to do. When you have 2 strikes and runners on, you just need to put the ball in play and let something happen, and that's exactly what Cunha did.
So hopefully the hot bats for Northwestern so far can get Emma Ray going. She's really struggled of late, just 1 hit in her last 8 games, that one coming in her last appearance against Rutgers.
But it's interesting because prior to that, she was hitting really well. So we've seen her enter a little bit of a slump, but a very solid hitter who's raised her average nearly 100 points from the start of March.
Cunha over at first, the 1-0 in the dirt for ball 2. Cunha will advance. So another runner in scoring position. That's what Northwestern loves to do. Just pick up extra bases whenever it can.
And when you're playing a team that has a great catcher like Wells, you need to steal on pitches like that. You got to steal on pitches where the ball is taking so long to get to the plate. Because once Wells has it, she's going to get you out. There's no question there. So you have to take advantage of the ball before it gets to the plate.
Ray lays off the 2-0, strike 1. Northwestern's been so aggressive in Big Ten play. Entered today 48 stolen bases, 10 more than second place Oregon in the stolen base department. Oregon obviously leading the Big Ten standings in terms of wins and losses.
I mean, Oregon just all around a really scary, solid team. The introduction of them into the Big Ten is definitely scary for a team like Northwestern, who's dominated in recent years.
It's been a fun team to watch as well. Oregon-UCLA series last weekend, obviously huge for Big Ten regular season implications. Northwestern just a couple games behind those 2 squads. The 2-2. Ray chops one back. He's done a nice job to stay alive in this count. Obviously, Northwestern entering today in a tie for third, but really fourth place in the Big Ten standings after dropping all three earlier this season against Nebraska at home. Oregon at the top, UCLA in the 2 spot. Top 4 teams get a first-round bye in the Big Ten tournament. Strike 3 looking as Ray sat down on Case. Salo allows 3, Northwestern up 3-0 after the first. Salo.
Northwestern softball would like to extend a very special welcome to a very special group in attendance today. The Evanston Baseball Softball Association.
It's like, looked a break. Nope. Probably should have kept talking. Yeah.
Fans, if you would like to bring a group of friends, family, or co-workers to a future game, note that special ticket discounts and experiences are available to groups of 20 or more. For more information, please email maxwell.falls@northwestern.edu today.
Cats on top early, 3-0 the score in Evanston as Northwestern, and this has been a squad that's dominated this series history for a while. 11 consecutive wins over the Badgers, that last loss coming back in 2018. The last time Northwestern lost against Wisconsin here in Evanston was 2017.
And Northwestern, last time these two teams even faced each other was in 2023. So 2 years ago, Northwestern actually swept the whole series, but swept the last game itself as well, 6-3.
Get a look at Lauren Boyd there. Is able to navigate through some traffic on the base paths in the first inning, and now faces Brooke Kuffel here to start things off in the second. 6, 7, 8 due up with Crane on deck and Ellie Hubbard in the 8-hole.
We keep talking about on-base streaks, and I know it sounds like we're talking about one for everyone, but Kuffel again hits that category. She has reached base in 10 straight games.
It's been a career season for her, the senior in her 4th year at Wisconsin. That ball just tabbed her shin, so she'll make the trot down to first, and there's one aboard for Wisconsin.
That's something you don't see a ton of from Lauren Boyd. Boyd's a pitcher who usually has great control, and looked like that was honestly something that I couldn't even tell it hit her knee at first, but just a little poke on the front of the kneecap looked like because she was bending her knees it might have hit, but that's not a bad pitch by Lauren Boyd. That doesn't go down as necessarily that big an error in her book. That was just a little inside and usually would just be called a ball, but on that, Kuffel was crowding the plate, and so therefore it will be a walk.
Hannah Conger will enter for her at first as a pinch runner. It's been primarily used in that role so far this season. Did play some time, has started 18 games rather this season, but just one start in her last 13 appearances. Just 34 plate appearances on the year. Bring up Emily Bojan in the 7-hole.
Bojan, someone with great plate discipline. She leads this Wisconsin team in walks.
So a couple movements in the lineup for Wisconsin as Crane was slated to bat here, but they'll go to Bojan. See the batting average, 238, 5 homers, 18 RBIs. Feels like Wisconsin has just the depth of players in their lineup. Bojan rockets one into right field, base knock. 2 on the base paths now for the Badgers to start things off in the second.
That one obviously hit grass, but that was pretty much directly to Kelsey Nader. Kelsey Nader had to take one step forward to throw that ball. Didn't even have to move to her left or right at all.
This ball was just a line drive off the bat. Nice piece of hitting going the other way for Bojan.
Bojan also a Chicago native, so got to imagine that maybe that's one of the reasons that she was put into the game, to play here in front of, on her home turf in front of friends and family. Actually,
teammates with Izzy Cunha in high school as part of a dominant Marist squad that won the state championship back in 2021. Izzy Cunha has played a lot of her former teammates so far this year. Marist connections at Notre Dame, at Loyola Chicago. Sierra Sass
It's all the Midwest teams.
The Ramblers. No balls, 1 strike to this ball into foul territory, so everybody will go back to where they started things. No balls, 2 strikes to Hubbard.
But great pop time from Ray behind the plate. Just was absolutely all over that ball, even though it was still in the batter's box. And Donahue, a really impressive stretch there at third. Obviously, one of her close friends, Kansas, we mentioned her moving to first. But Donahue doing a stretch like a first baseman over there as well, too.
So Hubbard behind, 0-2. Boyd trying to pick up the first out of the inning. Soft contact right back to Boyd, throws to third. Donahue, the throw to first, not in time, but a heads-up play by Northwestern's infield defense. Pick up the first out of the inning.
Just a well-coached team. That's an example of it. Donahue always ready for the ball. Boyd, Boyd came into Northwestern as someone who they recruited also as a third baseman, so obviously a heads-up infielder who's always ready to get the lead runner with the ball and helps her out as the pitcher. But you see just grounds from the soft contact here, throws it right to Donahue. Donahue does a great job just lasering it over to first, but, you know, Hubbard was just a little bit, 2 steps too fast.
So Lucy in the 9-hole, the center fielder, getting her first crack at things. Fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Lucy went 2 for 7 in the series against Minnesota with a trio of RBIs, had a triple, reached base twice via a free pass, 1 walk, hit by pitch as well, no strikeouts. In her second year for the Badgers. Big swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch there from Boyd to go low.
Boyd also has a little bit of room to play with this one because she did get the lead runner at third. So now instead of having runners at second and third, you have runners at first and second. You're able, an infield hit doesn't necessarily score a run, able to just calm things down.
And you can also be a little bit more aggressive in terms of what pitches you're throwing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
0-2. This one, nice job by Ray to keep it in front of her.
And also Ray behind the plate as well. Boyd, I think, always has a certain amount of confidence in Ray. This pair, you see them together a lot. But Boyd pitches a lot, Ray catches a lot. Boyd's the most used pitcher, as we mentioned. But she's able to throw whatever because Ray does such a good job of blocking balls and getting her knees down and stopping things that Boyd is comfortable throwing anything at her because she knows she'll stop it.
1-2 from Boyd. This ball lifted towards right field. Trailing foul. Nader trying to run after it, but just runs out of real estate.
The wind definitely helped Northwestern out a little bit. Looks like that might have been a ball if it was a dead day or if the wind was blowing the other way. Might have just stayed fair, but really drifted over and almost to the fence over there by the right field foul line.
Yeah, ended up right by where the tarp is being stored in that right field corner.
Tarp definitely got a lot of use today. It was raining a couple hours ago, so.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Lucy. Boyd delivers high, ball 2.
And that just trying to get Lucy to chase. She knows that she's a little bit behind on that. Saw the one before. As a righty, Lucy was definitely late on that ball, pushing it out to the right side. So trying to get Lucy to chase, knowing that she's feeling a little bit off center with how she's swinging right now.
And Lucy is somebody that will chase, 18 strikeouts on the season. That's number 19. So Boyd gets the strikeout, 2 outs now with 2 on as she tries to navigate another situation with 2 on and 2 outs.
Absolutely, and does a really good job there. Went high before, goes low here, knowing, as you mentioned, Adam, that Lucy is a hitter who will chase. She tried with the high ball, said, hey, I realize you didn't go for that. Let's try something else. Then went down low and got her there.
It's really impressive what Lauren Boyd has been able to do with the strikeouts this season. She'll face Bark again. First pitch strike.
Boyd has ridiculous command over her pitches. That's something we've seen time in and time out, especially here at the J. She just has ridiculous command over the strike zone, over where exactly she wants her ball to be and the spin she's putting on it.
Yeah, it's impressive, too, because it's not like Boyd was a pitcher that was necessarily like a strikeout pitcher in years past. Obviously didn't play last season. 2023 was her biggest workload, where she really split the time with Danielle Williams.
I think it also comes from the fact that she wasn't an ace before. She was always in a role where she was relieving someone or she was the second-day starter. Danielle Williams, playing on a team with her, you know she's going to pitch 3 out of 4 days if you're playing a series. And so, or 2 out of 3, or even Danielle Williams, we saw what she did in the Women's College World Series. She pitched almost every game. So Boyd did a really good job of stepping into this ace role and taking it over with power, getting all those strikeouts.
So 1 ball, 1 strike now. But, you know, talk about the strikeouts for Boyd, but 3 games this season with double-digit strikeouts, had 11 against Louisville, 10 at Minnesota, and 10 at Rutgers in Game 1 of that series. And she has just found something this super senior campaign. 1 ball, 1 strike, grounded left side and foul. Donahue was over there to make the play.
And you mentioned Rutgers. Along that whole series, she pitched twice and allowed no runs and only 3 hits while striking out 16 and 10 innings pitched. I mean, if that's not a stat line to look at as a little kid and say, I want to do that, I don't know what is.
Just 4 walks, too. So how about a 4 strikeout to walk ratio? Northwestern's been uber successful on both sides of the ball in this 5-game win streak for the Wildcats. The 1-2 to Bark just popped foul over Northwestern's dugout.
Really interesting to see. Not only has Boyd been utilizing different parts of the strike zone, but we're seeing her do something today that we don't always see, which is beating the hitters with speed. She's someone who, against some of these other teams like Nebraska, I mean, they face Jordy Ball in practice. They're used to speed, but really taking advantage of it here. And Wisconsin seems to be really late on Boyd's pitches, hitting everything out to the right side.
Boyd offers the 1-2. Grounded foul again. A little bit of a battle here between Boyd and Bark. As the Badgers trying to put up a mark here in the top of the second.
And Boyd, no stranger to a battle. As we mentioned, we've been talking about her strikeouts all day, but is really able to go late into the count with hitters and get them to chase, as you saw earlier.
Bojan at second, Hubbard at first. Lucy just struck out, and here's Bark. Ball outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So once again, tries to go to that high pitch. We saw her do that last at bat with Lucy as well. So she went to the high pitch, didn't get the swing, and then with Lucy went down to that low inside pitch. So I wonder if we'll see that from her as well here with Bark, or if she'll go to a different mechanism.
Pivotal at bat early in this ball game. The 2-2. Just off the plate.
It looked like Emma Ray there was ready to gun down the runner and actually smack the umpire in the face. So he looks okay, but...
You got to be careful if Emma Ray's behind the dish. Doesn't matter if you're a base runner, if you're the umpire.
The arm will be swinging.
Exactly.
Do not get in the way.
And it's powerful, too.
Oh, yeah.
Boyd versus Bark again. 3-2. Slashed right side through the hole. Nader had a little trouble with it in the outfield, but Bojan will stay at third. So the base is loaded for Molly Schlosser as the Badgers knocking on the door.
But honestly, there, Molly Schlosser knew from the second she left second. The runner knew as soon as they left second base that they were going to come around and score. And so on that, it didn't really matter that, it didn't even matter that Nader. But here we're looking at for an obstruction call here.
So the umpires will have a chat. You see Olivia Bark fired up, keeping the lineup moving. Wildcats will talk things over as well as you see the umpires convening. Umpires today, Jim Bertuzzi behind the plate, Vince Price at first, and Michael Hers at third.
Looks like they're talking to Kate now, telling her the situation, what they decided.
Yeah, both coaches getting explanations. And you'll see as Bojan went around third, almost touched her head coach, Yvette Healy. That's what they're must be talking about here.
Looks like that was something that would have affected the runner more in that situation. But Yvette also, a coach who's coached for a while, she obviously there was a wide turn at third, but also should know to get out of the way there.
Conversational still happening. You see Michelle Gascoigne and Coach Kate Drohan talking things over. Michelle Gascoigne will come into the circle here to inevitably talk to Lauren Boyd with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Emma Ray joining the meeting in the middle.
It's got to be so hard to be a catcher. You're wearing all that gear. Everyone goes for a meeting, and you just have to, like,
you're like, I'm there, guys. I'm there, guys. I'll be there. I'll be
there.
Yeah.
Give me 5.
Tony Smith is in the outfield now with the Wildcat outfielders, Cunha, Lindsay, and Nader.
Going back to that piece of hitting by Bark really quickly, can we just talk about how great a hit that was? Just a really hard hit ball.
Feels like Badgers have done a couple of those today.
Yeah.
See the pop for Boyd, 34 pitches already. trying to get out of this second inning.
You know, those hard hit balls happen when you're facing a pitcher who has speed, and Boyd's turned on the heat today, and when Wisconsin does make contact, the ball's going far.
So here's Schlosser, grounded out earlier in the first, over to Avasado at shortstop. Talk about a big at-bat. Wisconsin down 3. First pitch inside to Schlosser. She has been fantastic, especially in the second half of the season. You'll see the stats there, but she's reached safely in 27 of Wisconsin's last 30 games entering today. This ball slapped it to left field, just slicing foul. A lot of loud contact off the bats of the Badgers so far this afternoon.
Especially loud contact that drops just foul. Northwestern's seen that a couple times. Those sighs of relief. You know, Lauren Boyd's like, oh, phew, that didn't go where I thought. But here, just a hard hit ball takes it from that left side of the plate and takes it to the left side of the field. Just a little bit too far foul.
Just tailing left of the left field line. Dangerous situation here for Northwestern. The 1-1. Schlosser lays off strike 2, and that's more like it from Lauren Boyd.
It's a good pitch there to reset. She goes back to what she's comfortable with, lays one right in the strike zone, but a little bit up somewhere that the hitter can't exactly get a rip on it. 1-2 now, feeling more comfortable with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Schlosser's just been dynamite in Big Ten play. The OPS over 1,000. The batting average on balls in play at 400. The 1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Big time strikeout for Lauren Boyd. Strands the bases loaded. Northwestern still up 3-0, but how about this strikeout for Boyd?
Just absolutely great pitch. Goes for the curve, right? Just curves right in on the inside of the plate, inside, and gets the strikeout. Northwestern up 3 going into the bottom of the second. That was so just like...
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't know if that's like an issue. Like if you run into the coach, like can you not do it? Like can you? Yeah, I was like.
Wouldn't that bother the runner more than anyone? Like, I also saw Schlosser at the plate, and I thought she scored, and so that the whole thing stressed me out. I was like, what?
Cats up 3-0. Wisconsin leaving 5 on the base paths through 2 innings, 2 in the first, straining the bases loaded in the second. As we take a look at Wisconsin's defense, we mentioned Emmy Wells behind the dish, and she's just been fantastic all season long in terms of throwing out runners. That'll definitely be in play during the series.
Absolutely, and we saw that earlier with the steal that we saw last inning, but it came on a pitch that Wells couldn't have anything to do with it. The stolen base had happened before the ball even got to Wells behind the plate. But also looking at Blomberg as well, making the move from catcher to third. In prior years, she's been really steady at that catcher position, but has started at third because Wells has been so good behind the dish.
Talk about Ayanna Lindsay batting in the 8-hole, but she has been really solid of late. She's on an active 6-game reach base streak, which is the second longest on the team, just behind Izzy Cunha. First pitch from Salo, pummeled into right field, base knock. So Lindsay's now reached in 7 straight games. Hits in 3 of her last 4, 4 of her last 6. As her return to the lineup has just been so critical for this Northwestern offense.
She's been great. She was someone who we saw dip in the middle of the year, didn't play as much, and Kate has inserted her back into the lineup, and she's been fantastic. You saw earlier, sometimes we'd see her play the outfield and Avery Garden hit for her, but she's come in and started hitting for herself and has hit in a big way.
You mentioned Garden. She's in the 9-hole today, but she's not hit like a 9-hole hitter in Big Ten play. .313 average in Big Ten competition. Watches a first pitch strike from Sala.
And in Northwestern's game on Wednesday, Garden scored a team-high 3 runs and went 1 for 1 with a solo home run and 2 walks. So obviously we mentioned all the walks that happened in that game on Wednesday, but home run for her as well, scoring 3 runs.
That was her first home run since the series at Minnesota, game 2 of that series.
big lead there for Ayanna Lindsay, and that's something that she's going to try to do to get Wells off speed. She doesn't know where she's going to throw, but Ayanna needs to be careful there. Wells is someone who is willing to throw down, whether that's to second, whether that's to first. She loves to pick girls off, and she will look to do that today against a fast Northwestern team.
Lindsay, 9 stolen bases on the year. Definitely a threat to steal, one of the fastest on the squad. What a play over at third base. Even to try and get there, wasn't able to come up with the ball, but Hillary Blomberg crashing into the padding behind home plate on the pop-up.
And that was truly a play that was played from 2 catchers. Those are 2 people who have been trained at the catcher position. Were so quick to look up and track that ball. When you're trying to track a ball behind the plate, it is so hard with the spin of the ball, but those are 2 players who did a really good job tracking it, getting there, sliding. Looks like they might have collided, but they both look okay.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, a little bit of a scary strike for Avery Garden as Salo fires. Garden out in front of it, but
she was so ahead of that ball, it looked like she was almost done with her swing. She could have swung twice by the time she made contact there.
Feels like Salo's off-speed stuff has just been her best stuff so far today.
And it could be because Northwestern's been facing a lot of top talent lately, and they're used to hitting that fast pitching. So from slowing down the game, Salo's really trying to take advantage.
Garden fouls one off down the left side.
See, when she picks up speed like she does there, Northwestern manages to hit these really far foul balls. And as a pitcher, that's scary to you. Even if they're going foul, you know that if the team you're facing has the ability to hit balls that far, as this Northwestern team does, you need to keep it away from their barrels.
Garden has power as well. 3 home runs on the year. Another major pop-up, trailing foul down the left side.
Can we just talk about how high these balls are going? I mean, that was way over the press box. You could have doubled the press box twice and it still would have been over it.
So Lindsay over at first. Garden in a 1-2 count. Still just in the bottom of the second here in Evanston. A lot of base runners so far. The 1-2. Garden into right field. It drops. Lindsay on her horse, getting to third. She'll stay there. Runners on the corners, no outs as the top of the lineup due up, as Grace Nito will have an opportunity here.
Northwestern's done a really good job of stringing together hits. You see, maybe they're not the most powerful hits. Maybe they're not hitting doubles and triples. I mean, other than Bridget Donahue, but even she got a double off of just a small piece of hitting. But right there, really good job going into that hole behind first, but not yet far enough for right field to get to. That's a great spot to put the ball, and that's something that as an infield, you can practice that as many times as you want, but sometimes the ball is just put in a certain place where no one can get to it, and Northwestern's done a great job of putting it in that place where no Wisconsin defender can make an out.
So Nito singled back in the first. Strike 1 to her. She tries to extend Northwestern's lead.
If you're Wisconsin, this is a really scary part of the lineup to be coming up. We mentioned Nito and Nader managing to get on base in any way, slapping, kind of that smaller, scrappier stuff. But with a runner on first and third, that's where Nito excels. 0-1.
Northwestern loves to do the double steal, and Garden will pick up second base. The throw to third off the mark, and Northwestern picks up another run. The aggressive base running works in the favor of the Wildcats again. It feels like we've seen it so much this season. And just a mental mistake from Blomberg. Couldn't quite keep that ball in front of her at third base. Northwestern, the stolen base at second. The ball gets away from Blomberg, and Lindsay pounces home.
And Avery Garden wanted home on that one. That ball rolled into the dugout. Looks like when it went off of Blomberg's glove, it went right into the dugout, and that should be considered a dead ball. So she took the next base, but if she was far enough in the base path, that's what the umpires are talking about. They're talking about if Garden will be awarded home as well, because for a dead ball, the runners get to move an extra base. So that's what they're talking about right now in that little conference. You just see it here. Obviously going down to second. Looks like they're going to get her out, but then was worried that Lindsay was going to go home, so threw back, and there you go. She gets to take home, and Garden goes to round third, and that's when the ball's in the dugout.
Yeah, it feels like she could have just applied the tag on Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay wasn't really taking a massive jump.
No, but it's also the fear that if she turns away from the play, Lindsay is fast enough where she's going to get there.
It'll be the 6th stolen base of the season for Garden, and advancing to third base on the error. It's 4-0 Wildcats for now. But
Looks
this
like
conversation it's still going.
Yeah, they're really deciding. Looks like on that play, Blomberg just took her eye off the ball for a second. Seems like Garden will indeed be staying at third there, so looks like it wasn't ruled a dead ball.
So Wisconsin will talk things over in the circle. The question is actually going to be if Ayano was still at second base, or I guess Garden was at second base when the ball was released.
And it looks like there will be a pitching change, but let's talk a little bit about stolen bases. Coming in today, these are two teams that really utilize speed. They both have great catchers, so you see that caught stealing stat there, but as well as the stolen base stat. Both these teams attempt a lot of stolen bases, take advantage on offense, and take advantage on defense when everyone's trying to get them out.
Looks like the Badgers are going to make a change in the circle. We'll take a quick step aside here on Big Ten Plus. Northwestern up 4-0. I'm so confused. I don't think I've ever been more confused.
No, literally. It's
I have no idea what's
like
happening.
I played for years.
So the Badgers making a change in the circle. It'll be Jordan Felci, the true freshman in her first season at Wisconsin from Staten Island, New York, making the appearance. 4.06 ERA. This is her 15th appearance of the year, already a 2-1 record. And she started the year off really, really strong. Has dipped a little bit of late in terms of the ERA. Conference play, that ERA sits at 5.60.
Felci's someone that Wisconsin loves to plug in and put her in a situation. As you mentioned, Adam, only 2 starts but 14 appearances. Normally, we'll see the starters rotate between Salo and Molly Jackson, but here throwing Felci into the mix as well.
The lefty hurler, 2 balls, 1 strike now after the first pitch. Couldn't quite find the strike zone to Nito.
Also interesting to throw a lefty in here against Northwestern, because Northwestern very used to facing right-hand pitching. And so that also could play a part here, especially when you put a lefty against a slapper. That really changes the way the slapper has to approach.
This one just nubbed off the end of the bat. Felci throws onto first. A little bit of an awkward play over there, but Bark is able to keep it in front of her for the out. So 1 away. That's exactly what you needed if you were the Badgers.
Absolutely, and that is an example of Nito going from facing a righty to going to facing a lefty. Just kind of hits the end of her bat, isn't able to get power behind it, and Felci might be a little cold. Those hands, we mentioned it's cold and snappy out there, a little windy, and so just didn't get the grip on the ball she quite wanted, but was saved by Bark at first, able to make the play.
So 4-0 the score. Nader with an opportunity to tack on an RBI with Garden at third. First pitch low for ball 1.
It's interesting as a lefty slapper to approach a lefty pitcher, because when that ball comes out, you have a much clearer view of it. You're able to see the spin, see where it's coming from, see the hand snap, and that helps a lot, but also can make the ball look like it's coming at you a lot faster.
The 1-0. Nader chops it foul.
And you see Nader definitely there with the timing, adjusting to the lefty. It's very early on that one, but trying to adjust on a righty, you have an extra second to see that, and so has to see that ball sooner, and saw it a little too soon, if anything, there.
Yeah, I mean, Felci, she's got some velo as well. Mentioned Salo was so effective with using her changeup and some of the slow stuff. The 1-1 from Felci. Popped in towards left field. Easy enough for Schlosser, who's under it. Garden will hold at third. So Felci doing a nice job to limit any extra damage. Now 2 outs.
And for the Wisconsin defense, that's kind of a sigh of relief. That ball is in a place where you can't get the run home. You just are able to keep the run there, keep the runner at third, make sure no one scores. If that ball was hit to the other side of the field, for example, Northwestern would be up 4-0 right now, or be up 5-0 right now.
Avasado in our first plate appearance walked and came around to score. It's Northwestern's second run. Nader was the first run after reaching on that awkward play. Pop up towards the right side that just fell. There's strike 1.
Avocado also who you want if you're a Northwestern in the lineup with runners in scoring position. Obviously just one runner here, but runner on third, Avocado with 2 outs just needs to poke something and get on base safely.
Had 3 RBIs in the series against Rutgers, batted 3 for 10 in that slate of games. High chopper left side, and did it stay fair? It does. Just cut the corner of the bag at third base. Avocado trying to get to second base, and she will. So the chopper works to Northwestern's favor. Yvette Healy is calling for time. Might want to talk this thing over, potentially challenge this. Could you see that?
I could totally see it. I mean, you see here just looks like something that bounces. The third baseman thought it was going to go off, and looks like it does hit the corner of the bag, so honestly should be a fair ball. Really good call by the umpires there. She can challenge it and talk about it, but this should stay fair, but looks like it caught Avocado off guard as well. She went to round first and stopped there, and then was like, should I go to second? Should I not go to second? You saw her jump back and forth a couple times, but eventually takes second base. The run scores there, and that's something that's just a little unlucky for Wisconsin. Obviously, as the third baseman, Blomberg thinks that ball is going to go foul, and normally the assumption is that it would, especially with the weird spin on the ball today, the wind movement, but manages to hit the corner of the base, and umpires are debating it right now.
So I think they are going to indeed take a look. We saw the motion that they'll look at the replay, but I mean, feels like we've seen a slew of just really wacky plays.
I was going to say, this is the most bizarre 2 innings, it feels like 3. 2 innings I've seen thus far. Just unbelievable, weird calls. You saw before the ball goes in the dugout. There's a couple challenges. We're looking at possible obstruction around the third base side, and it looks like, honestly, there must be some kind of weird voodoo thing happening around this third base bag, because all the weird, strange calls that we don't see every day have been happening right there.
See the official review there. Conversations going on, but I mean, this is just Big Ten softball too. I mean, talk about a league that is known for its grittiness. That's something Northwestern always talks about. Anytime you ask Kate Drohan, it's how gritty can you be? And Northwestern right now, I mean, they're finding ways. This is a season that has not necessarily gone as well as they would have liked. You look at the Big Ten standings, 12-4 in conference play. You love to see it, but they haven't played particularly well at home. 5-6. You just got to find ways to put the ball in play, and that's what the Wildcats have done so far today. It's what they've done in Big Ten play. You see, like, if you get that kind of bounce, wow.
I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know if that's lucky or unlucky, but at that point, I think the umpires are just looking at if it did hit that bag and when it crossed that line. So definitely will be interesting to see. I don't know. They're definitely looking right now, still have those headphones on. But yeah, Adam, this is just ridiculous. In Northwestern, we have seen some weird occurrences here at the J, but another one to add to the list.
I mean, it just looks like it crossed that front edge of the bag. The umpire are going to have the down the line look that we're not necessarily going to have, but they'll have another viewpoint that they'll be able to see right down that third base line.
So again, they're looking at if the ball did indeed touch that bag and what part of the bag it touched and when it did cross that line.
This review taking some time now. Northwestern just trying to keep the pressure on.
One more time here, just looking. I mean, you see it slowed down. Really hard to tell where that ball crosses. Blomberg lets it go and just trying to see if it did touch that third base or not. You're trying to see where it went over the corner. Did it hit the front of the corner or did it go over the corner? And that's what they're looking at to see what made the ball ricochet.
So, I mean, it's either 4-0 or 5-0 depending on what happens here. If they call it off, then Avocado would obviously go back into the batter's box. If not, it brings up Kansas Robinson, who's been fantastic with runners in scoring position. We mentioned the RBIs. It's the Wildcats. I mean, this offense has really come to life. During this 5-game win streak they're on, outscoring opponents 45-2. They bring it through the first 2 innings of today. It's now 50-2.
Unbelievable, and especially we've talked about those scrappy hits, and that's something Northwestern's done. We've seen them have those big hits. I mean, you talked about Kansas. She's one of these big hitters on this team who, you know, home runs, grand slams, anything you name it, she's going to do. But those scrappy hits, especially near the top of the lineup, is what Northwestern's done such a good job with. It's just such a weird situation here to see that Avocado's on second, but she might go back to the batter's box. Like, that's such a bizarre situation that you really don't see.
If you're Avocado over there at second base, as we're going to get a call here now, so we'll wait on this. It's a long decision, and they're going to call it that it was a foul ball. They're going to say it was a foul ball, so it'll be 4-0 Northwestern. Garden will go back to third base. Avasado back to the batter's box. We'll rewind. Hope that the last 5 minutes of your time hasn't been, too strenuous or stressful. Go grab yourself a coffee, and we'll be back on.
Avasado just taking a deep breath here. I mean, trying to reset. She's putting her guards back on for hitting. Just now she has to really take a deep breath and get herself back into that mindset. She has to put her guard back on, get back up there, think about how she's going to hit, how she's going to approach this at bat. She thought that she had a double out of that, and clearly looking a little different now.
As originally ruled a single and advancing to second on a fielding error by the second baseman, Crane.
And also, Avery Garden as well, Nader goes back to third on that as well. Just an interesting thing, has to come out of the dugout, probably took her helmet off, has to put it back on and go back out to run.
She looks like Conger actually stayed in the game. She's at second base. As Avasado lays off ball 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And really an interesting approach here from Avasado. You come in, you have to have 2 strikes on you. Normally, the second you step into the batter's box, you're able to have a little leeway, but she needs to perform as soon as she gets in here and step in with a 2-strike mindset.
So Felci deals. Avasado laces one towards the left side. Blomberg makes the throw, but it's off the top of the glove of Bark. Avasado will step back on first. She thought about turning the corner, so had to come back to first base. But nonetheless, the run will score 5-0 now. Avasado now at first base, not second.
Such an interesting, weird little play, but here, almost the same hit as before, obviously not up in the air, but right down the third base line. Blomberg makes the play. This time she knows not to let it go foul. She's like, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna make the throw. And it looks like the throw wasn't even that high, but just off Bark's glove. She might have started to do the split a little early, and therefore wasn't at the peak of her height when she went to go catch it, just off the top of the glove. Wisconsin here just needs to take a deep breath, reset. There's been some weird, funky plays, and reset, be able to, and you see it there as well, just Avasado taking second off the glove of Wells, but that's something you don't see every day. You don't see Wells missing balls. You don't see Bark having balls go off. And Blomberg, earlier in this inning, you saw the ball flip off her glove too. So it looks like Wisconsin really just needs to settle down. They're down 5-0, but honestly, a reset, you just put a new pitcher in, take a deep breath, and look at the situation as an even game.
So 1 ball, no strikes from Felci. Robinson lays off. Ball 2, low and away. It just feels like the mental miscues for the Badgers have really hurt Wisconsin. For Northwestern, I mean, when they've put the ball in play this season, I mean, these are the kinds of games that they've played. It's been gritty, it's been ugly at times, but they found ways to score runs by putting pressure on defenses. Robinson, big swing, fouls one back.
And the truth is, that's the way to succeed, because softball is such a short game. It's such a game of speed. It's a game of quick movements, and if you're going to put the ball in play, eventually someone's going to make a mistake. No one's perfect. In this game, I mean, we talk about if you hit 3 out of every 10 times, you're a ridiculously good player. So just putting the ball in play, good things happen, even if you're playing a stellar defense. Wisconsin does have a good defense, but as we see today, off their game a little bit and bound to make mistakes, and Northwestern's really capitalized on that.
So 2 balls, 1 strike to Robinson. Leads the team with 34 RBIs on the year. Lays off strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second in the bottom of the second. Felci deals. Robinson lifts this one. And Wells will have the space behind home plate to make the play. Northwestern tacking on 2 after the 3 spot in the first. It's been a pair of crooked numbers for the Cats to start this thing off. 5-0 the score in Evanston. I have no idea.
That was so
We're muted. I'm also just confused who's actually in the lineup for. Back to action here in Evanston, 5-0 the score. And throughout this series, we're going to get a look at two of the best freshmen in the Big Ten. You talk about Kendra Lewis for Wisconsin, Kaylee Avasano for Northwestern. They have been just fantastic for their respective teams so far this season.
Absolutely, Adam. Number 7 versus number 8. You see that average, both of them hitting amazing. Different positions, obviously. Kendra Lewis, an infielder, but primarily pitches and then hits. And Kaylee Avasano obviously plays shortstop for Northwestern, but has done an unbelievable job with her bat. See those slugging numbers, the on-base percentage, both of them slugging some home runs in there too. And that RBI numbers, those are really the craziest part. But something to really look at is that stolen base difference. Kendra Lewis is not a base stealer, whereas Avasano is a big one.
Blomberg, first pitch, takes it right back up the middle, but nice play by Nito at second to throw on to first to get the out. So Blomberg out on the ground out to Nito.
And honestly, that's looking like the difference in this game. Both teams are putting the ball in play. There hasn't been that much of a difference in strikeouts necessarily, but it's the fact that when Wisconsin has put the ball in play, Northwestern is making the plays. You see here just a soft grounder there. Easy play for Nito, the backhand over to Kansas at first, but Northwestern was making the plays in the field, and Wisconsin isn't.
Lewis, first pitch swinging, ground ball over to Robinson, steps on the bag, so 2 up, 2 down on 2 pitches.
Basically the same exact thing, except Robinson was a little bit over to the left and was able to make that play, came over, but her and Nito doing a really good job of shoring up that right side of the infield. Looks like there's no holes over there, whereas Northwestern has been getting all their hits to the right side, or a lot of them at least, over those right side holes.
So it's Emmy Wells at the dish. Brooke Kuffel on deck. Looks like she's re-entered for Hannah Conger.
Definitely seen some switch-arounds with this lineup and in the field as well. Wisconsin subbing in and out players, trying to take advantage of certain matchups here. And especially when you make a pitching change, sometimes that's an opportunity to put some other people in as well. But Emmy Wells here, obviously a staple in this Wisconsin team, behind the plate and here hitting.
The home run numbers are a little down from last year, but I guess you can't hit 14 home runs every single season.
And she's still hit pretty well as well.
What's incredible, though, is her slugging is actually up this year than it was last year. 511 slugging last year, 533 coming into today this year because of her 9 doubles. It's up from 1 from just a season ago. So actually has more extra base hits this year, just 7 less homers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch just nicks off the inner corner for strike 2.
You mentioned less homers but higher slugging, and oftentimes a measure of how good a hitter isn't necessarily, we like to think of the best hitters as the one who hit the most home runs, but oftentimes it's the people who are able to make solid contact, and that turns into other things. Home run hitters who only can hit bombs and strike out the rest of the time aren't that useful to a team unless they're hitting home runs. But when you have a player who can put the ball in play and get strong hits, and then those hits then turn into home runs if they're lifted enough, that's what you really want. So if anything, maybe she has less home runs, but she's really improved as a hitter this season.
Yeah, Wells, the OPS in Big Ten play, over 1,000. The 2-2 just slapped foul off the end of the bat.
She's doing a great job wasting pitches she doesn't want. She's looking for something she wants, count holding even at 2-2, making Boyd work. And Boyd, now through 3 here, or not even 3 yet, is up to 45 pitches, which is more than we normally see from her. She's usually a pretty efficient pitcher, gets in, gets out, uses her speed, uses her spin. But here, Wisconsin's definitely testing her a little bit more.
She's been challenged so far. Had to strand 2 base runners on the first, stranded the bases loaded in the second. It's Wells out in front of that.
Yet another foul ball, just making Boyd work extra hard there. It's not hard for Wells to take those hacks, but Boyd has to decide what pitch he has to put in the right place. Definitely, when a hitter's going late into the count, yes, it's stressful because you don't want to strike out as the hitter, but the pressure is really on the pitcher in this situation.
Wells only a 13.6% strikeout rate in Big Ten play. The strikeout rate on the season closer to 18%. As Boyd calls time. Step out of the circle for a second.
And this is just Boyd resetting, thinking about the pitch she wants to throw, where she wants to put it. She's been in this count for 5-6 pitches now, so she just wants to think about it. You see her shake one off there. She's deciding what pitch she wants. Has to be really careful here with 2 strikes and a good hitter like Wells.
The 2-2 in the dirt for ball 3 runs the count full.
And definitely wanted to have a chase pitch there. When you have a 2-2 count as a pitcher, you know, that's your count. You want to try to make the hitter swing. You have a ball to play with. But really thinking about that there, it looked like that was a little too low and wasn't the waist pitch she exactly wanted. Has been successful with that lower waist pitch, but ones that are a little bit higher.
So payoff pitch here from Boyd. Out in front of it, and they'll do it once again.
We'll be coming up on the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And as we mentioned, Boyd running up in the count. We see Renee Cunningham warming up in the bullpen there.
Looks like
Actually, Emma Blay, yeah. I expected it would be Renee Cunningham. Usually that's who they throw in a relief situation, but Emma Blay instead, actually.
Emma Blay normally, when she comes into ball games, likes to pitch to Lauren Saborski. 3-2. Just off the backside of the bat. Boyd gonna have to do it again.
And you saw that big sigh of relief there for Wells, knowing that that could have been called a strike. Was able to just get her bat in there a little bit, and will now go to a 10th pitch of the at-bat, which is just ridiculous. The fact that there's been almost 50 pitches thus far, and a 5th of them have been thrown to Wells in this inning, ridiculous.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Boyd. Strike 3 looking. Big punch out for a 1-2-3 third inning. Northwestern up 5-0, but Lauren Boyd has been dealing a little bit of struggles early, but finding a way to keep the Badgers off the scoreboard.
Just a great job here by Lauren Boyd, painting that outside corner. She knew she wasn't going to be able to go right down the middle with it, going outside, getting Wells, who's a very disciplined hitter, for the out, 3 outs.
Five nothing Wildcats in front as we take a look at the Northwestern's head coach, Kate Drohan, in her 24th season with the program. You see the 805 career wins, picked up that 800th career win earlier this season against Illinois. And talk about a coach that's just helped this program continue its success after Sharon Drysdale's 23 seasons. Kind of crazy that now this is Kate Drohan's 24th after Drysdale was only here for 23. I say only, too.
But it's so weird. I mean, the Northwestern's playing at the J right now. Sharon Drysdale was such a huge building block of this Northwestern program, and Kate Drohan obviously learned under her and then became her successor. But Kate Drohan, it's interesting, as you mentioned, Adam, to think of her as someone who's been here just as long. She's obviously seen as like the younger blood, the newer coach, but just as achieved, has just as many achievements there, the 800 wins, as you mentioned, and has won that Big Ten Head Coach of the Year 4 times in the last 5 years, most recently last year. So someone who's really cemented herself as one of the best coaches in the Big Ten, if not the.
Yeah, and under her leadership, Northwestern obviously winning the last 3 Big Ten regular seasons. Big cut and miss from Donahue. This year, probably a little bit of a taller task to do that. Not technically out of it mathematically yet, but just with the way that Oregon and UCLA are playing, it's going to be tough to track those teams down.
Northwestern just dominated the Big Ten region, that Midwest region, for so long, and now having to introduce these West Coast teams really puts a new spin and a new challenge for Kate Drohan, and that's something that she's embraced. She wants to have her team get up to that level, and her team, a team that, as we mentioned, so good in the Big Ten for so many years, and now a new challenge awaits them, and she's not backing down.
But at the same time, it's good for the league as a whole as well, in terms of you look at the NCAA tournament, and obviously there's always going to be really strong leagues like the SEC, and if the Big Ten wants to have more teams, like having better teams obviously raises the RPI of everybody, as obviously It's getting towards that time of year as Donahue lays off.
Absolutely. Northwestern looking ahead to the Big Ten tournament and anything that might come after that as well.
And Wisconsin's a team, too, that's on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. In the top 50 of the RPI, there's a slew of Big Ten teams in that range. 3-2 in the dirt, so Donahue walks. And the leadoff man aboard for Northwestern.
Donahue, not a bad day. A double in the first after hitting that little blooper to the right side, and then a walk here. Gets a runner on base for Cunha, who last time, remember, had a great single that ended up getting her 2 RBIs and scoring runs 2 and 3.
She's just been fantastic for Northwestern. Mentioned that 4-game RBI streaks, got RBIs in 5 of her last 6 now. First pitch swinging, lifts it left side. Blomberg trying to track it down, but just got into the Wisconsin dugout.
Interesting how many balls have made their way into that dugout today. Usually that's not something you see all the time, but balls just keep flying in there.
And Cunha did struggle at the beginning of the year. Had just 2 hits in her first 9 appearances, but since then, batting .395 with a .471 on-base percentage. I mean, talk about a hitter that is really blossoming in front of our eyes. In the dirt, Donahue will advance to second, so now a runner in scoring position. Northwestern trying to keep the offense moving.
And Cunha also, as you mentioned, Adam, is heated up, but not a stranger to a multi-hit game. She has 8 of them this season, so definitely something she'll look to achieve again. And as we mentioned, was great in the Rutgers series and has reached base consecutively in 9 games.
Got a pair of RBIs in the midweek against the UIC Flames. Game that Northwestern obviously won 11-0. Riley Grudzalonic throwing a no-hitter. Left side, nice play by the shortstop Hubbard, but Blomberg over at third base, unable to make a play on it.
It was a good decision there by Hubbard at short, but on that play, if Hubbard's gonna try to make that play, she needs to throw to the outside. You see Bridget Donahue, looks like Blomberg's walking it off, just slid right into her legs a little bit. But here, the grounder to Hubbard, she's already on her knees, does a good job throwing it there. But if she's gonna throw that ball, she can't throw it across Blomberg's body. She needs to throw it in a place where Blomberg could catch it and make the tag easily. She threw it in a place where Blomberg had to go across the body, so she was dealing with a sliding Donahue and then had to go and get the ball. It's hard to catch the ball when a runner's in the way. So on that, Hubbard's got to move that ball a little bit to the left, so in a more fluent motion, Blomberg can catch it and make the tag on Donahue. But now Donahue on third.
I'll call it a single for Cunha, so a 2-hit afternoon for her as Ray steps back in, strike to her.
So I guess make it 9 multi-hit games for Cunha then.
9 multi-hit games. Has got multi-hits games in 3 of her last 4.
Just there, see that ball on the, looks like it was on the top bit of the strike zone.
Ray wanted to bunt, but pops it foul. 0-2.
It's hard to bunt also against a pitcher that's so quick. When you're trying to bunt against a pitcher like Felci, you really need to have your bat so solid in a way that you're going to absorb the ball. Because like that, if you're like Ray on that pitch and you kind of just throw your bat head out there, if it doesn't make the most solid contact and you're not able to absorb the speed, you're just going to foul it off and up every time.
0-2. Ray lays off. Cunha stuck in a pickle. Donahue was going to come home, and that's exactly how Northwestern runs the bases. Cunha able to just slide back into first. Donahue pulled Wisconsin's defense out of position and just allowing Cunha to just get back to first base.
But that was a great job by Hubbard. You see here, the ball goes down. Hubbard catches it, ready to make the tag, but has to run her back and does a great job. See this, keeping the ball out to make the tag, so looking like she's going to make it, but keeping those eyes on Donahue. Donahue wasn't able to go, and she ran Cunha all the way back.
So just pretend nothing happened. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ray, big swing and a miss, goes down on strikeouts for the 2nd time today. First time swinging, and there's 1 away.
And that's just a pitch she can't be swinging at, frankly. That was way out of the zone. That wasn't even a chase pitch. I mean, obviously that was a chase pitch, but that was a pitch that was just way out that Ray needs to have more discipline on. Obviously, had that strike before not go her way because she had to hold it because she knew the runner was going, but still needs to have more discipline than going out and trying to hit a pitch that's in the other batter's box.
So after a 6-game strikeout streak, Ray didn't have strikeouts in her last 2, didn't play in the midweek against UIC, and now has 2 strikeouts today. Ayanna Lindsay now in the batter's box watches a first pitch strike.
We've seen a couple instances of Wisconsin having to handle this first and third situation, throwing down to second and then having to deal with the repercussions of if the runner goes home. And you see the catcher came out before. Wells came out and did a motion to her infield. And that motion is usually done to alert the infield that there's a play. So that tells us that in practice this week, that's something that Wisconsin was really working on, is how do we go against this Northwestern team that steals all the time and tries to put us in difficult situations, and how do we outsmart them in those situations?
The 1-1 from Felci. Lindsay pummels left side, gets through the defense. Lindsay, an RBI knock, a 2-hit game as Northwestern attacking on another.
And honestly, on that one was a really good piece of hitting just up the left side, but looked like a little bit of confusion between Blomberg and Hubbard there. Looked like Hubbard slowed down a little bit, was trying to just play the backup role, thought that Blomberg was going to go for it, but then was just hit a little bit too hard and a little too fast for Blomberg to get to it, and was also in the hole where Hubbard couldn't quite get to it. So a really good placement, and I've been emphasizing that all day, and not to sound like a deadbeat who keeps saying the same thing, but Northwestern just does such a good job of putting the ball in places where the defense can't make plays on them.
Just Lindsay's second 2-hit game of the season. First pitch strike to Avery Garden. Nito on deck, Nader in the hole. Just one out here, the MRA strikeout. Western runners on first and second. Felci deals, Garden out in front of it, fouls it down the right side.
Garden's so ahead of that pitch. Looks like that she was almost all the way around again. We saw this in her last at bat as well. Doing it, honestly, timing up the pitchers too well where she's too fast. Has to slow down a little bit. Maybe start that load a little bit later and be able to take that ball up the middle instead of to the right side.
Garden, no career RBIs at the J. Still searching for that first one in Evanston. 13 RBIs on the season, 7 in Big Ten play. 0-2, outside, ball 1.
Definitely a good opportunity for that here. Obviously 2 outs, but runners on first and second. This is the kind of situation you want to be in. You're able to have some space with what you want to do. You're up 6. You're able to take a hack at something that maybe you wouldn't take a hack at if it was such a close game, but she can really try to put something in play here and get those runners around.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Felci deals. This ball laced into right field, but not quite deep enough. Ball gets away from the second baseman. Cunha comes home. It's 7-0. Lindsay being called home. She'll score. It's 8-0 Wildcats as Garden makes her way to third base. Northwestern finding ways to score. It's not always pretty, but it just puts pressure on the defense.
I mean, it's the same story we've been talking about all day. There are easy routine plays, and not that she wouldn't have been out there, but easy routine plays that Wisconsin needs to be making. A good piece of hitting right outside of the outstretched glove of Conger there, and tries to slide in, tries to get it at second. Ball is in the dirt, can't get it, and you just see Kate Drohan there with the arm. Looks like it's about to fly off, actually, just waving everyone around and in. A really good job by Northwestern, being alert, keeping their hitters alert, moving around the bases. Ayanna Lindsay scores there, just everyone coming around and scoring. But Garden makes her way to third, scores both runners, and now Northwestern's up 8.
It's been the defense for Wisconsin that's really eluded them at times in today's game. You have to imagine that's going to be ruled as their third error.
And that's something that, obviously, the score, 8-0, Northwestern's up, but the game would be a lot closer if not for those errors. That's something, there's been runners left on base by Wisconsin, yes, but the main thing that it comes down to is errors. When there's errors and multiple runs score, that's when things go. It's not a big deal when there's no one on base and someone just makes a little grounder error and can't get the ball to first in time and you have a runner on. But it's a bigger deal when there are multiple runners on and then errors are made and throws go errant on plays where you should be getting outs. Wisconsin's been giving Northwestern way more outs than Northwestern has been given, and so that's definitely the issue here and why Northwestern's up so much.
So 8-0 the score, just 1 out, not 2 here in the bottom of the third. Nito bunts, foul behind the dish.
And again, going back to that idea of when you're facing a faster pitcher, you really need to absorb that contact. You need to absorb the speed of the pitcher. Nito there, sometimes it's easier to bunt on a pitcher who's throwing a little slower. Obviously, you want to usually bunt on a pitcher that's throwing faster if you can't hit him. Nito obviously can hit them. She's had the single today, but really needing to absorb that speed when it comes at you instead of just throwing your bat head out there, or else the ball is just going to fly off like that.
0-1 to Nito. Swings through. Nice off-speed pitch for strike 2.
And the trouble with going up trying to bunt and then getting that strike is she's now in an 0-2 hole. And that's tough against Felci, who has this power, is able to move the ball, and you don't know where it's going to go. And Nito, in a little bit, she's dug herself into a little bit of a hole here.
First at bat against Felci, grounded out right back to the pitcher. 0-2. Popped in towards left field, but just into foul territory down the left side. Garden over at third. 1 out.
And definitely trying to just put the ball in play here. Make Wisconsin either make the play, as Northwestern's been trying to do all day, just letting Wisconsin take the error when they're not making the play, or just putting the ball so that Garden can advance.
Northwestern 22 runs in its last 2 games. Already 8 here through 2 1/3. Ball slapped left side, and it eats up Hubbard. Another run comes home, 9-0, as the Wildcats continuing to whack balls in play, and Wisconsin's defense just cannot handle it.
And that's the problem. We keep mentioning it, we keep saying it, but Felci almost at 40 pitches now came in relief, but this ball just hit hard, took a strange bounce there, but Hubbard did a good job trying to step up, field that ball. Looked like she was ready to throw it, but the ball, it wasn't even her fault that the ball played her, but took a weird bounce, wasn't able to secure it. And oftentimes errors are contagious. It was not her fault. When certain things start happening, other players start making errors. It's kind of the mindset that overtakes you on the field.
It's the 4th error of the day for Wisconsin, as Hubbard can't come up with that one. I'm sure that'll probably be ruled a single, though, for Nader. They don't pay me the big bucks, though, to score games, which is probably good.
Yeah, your score sheet looks a little messy.
Yeah,
over there,
it's a mess. I can hardly read it myself.
I do have to say, though, I mean, that was a great play by Nader. You see here, going back to the exact same spot, knowing that that bouncing ball is going to play Hubbard. That's what happens. When a player makes an error, you want to go right back to them. You want to test them. And Nader did a great job seeing that ball that Nito hit play Hubbard. She said, hey, let's try this one more time, see if you can recover. Hubbard given the opportunity there and not able to come up with the ball. First and second for Northwestern, and the run scored before.
But how about the quality of hitter for Nader to be able to execute that as well? First pitch to Avasado, low and inside for ball 1.
I mean, Nader's a top-tier slapper. That's something that Northwestern brought her in to do, that she's been amazing doing. She's so good at it, and she's done that since her freshman season. She came in with speed. She came in with an ability to put the ball in play and put the ball in play where she wants. That's what makes Nader such a difficult hitter to get out, because she knows where she wants to put the ball, and she's going to be able to put it there no matter what pitch she's facing.
Avasado went headhunting for Kate Drohan for a second, but looks like Coach Drohan okay down the third base line.
You know, she's like, I don't even know what she could be upset about. She gets this playing time. She's playing great. Drohan's been a great coach for her. Maybe she wanted a little bit more argument on the ball on when she came back to home, but a really good swing there from Avasado.
Avasado 0 for 1, was reached on an error. Also reached on a walk. Came around to score back in the first. Avasado watches ball 2.
We keep mentioning it, but Avasado keeps coming up to bat with runners ahead of her, and that's what's so dangerous about this 1-2-3 punch. Obviously, then you get into Robinson and Donahue and Kania, and the whole lineup's scary, actually. But definitely the 1-2 punch of those two slappers able to maneuver themselves on base, and then Avasado behind them, which is this powerful bat that puts the ball in play all the time.
And you mentioned the lineup's scary. It's also really scary when Ayanna Lindsay and Avery Garden, the 8-9 spots, are firing on all cylinders. Really, the only weakness in Northwestern's lineup today has been Emma Ray, who struck out twice. 3 balls, 1 strike to Avasado. Robinson on deck. Donahue started this inning off with a walk in the hole as Avasado out in front of it.
Avasado still taking hacks, though. The amount of power she has behind that bat there. Obviously just wants to get behind and hit. Her at-bat last time was shortened a little bit by the whole mix-up going on at third. Had to come back and hit with 2 strikes. But here, able to have her own count up to this full count again.
Yeah, Zoe, that's why my lineup, my scorecard's all messy.
Okay.
It's been a lot of moving parts today.
You can blame it on that. You're telling me it doesn't look like that every game.
It's besides the point. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Avasado lifts one towards center field. Just shallow left center as Hubbard will make the play on it. So 2 outs now for Robinson with 2 on.
Kansas loves to come up to the plate with runners on. This is something she's so good at. Leads the team in RBIs, is such a good hitter with runners in scoring position and just runners on base, frankly. Has a strong bat and catches fire, has caught fire in the second half of the season in conference play especially, but has a certain fire that comes out when there are ducks on the pond in front of her.
9th batter of the inning for the Wildcats. the 4-hole hitter, Robinson. Watches a first pitch strike on the outer edge. She's 0 for 2 so far. Has been popped out twice towards the left side. One was towards Emmy Wells behind the dish, but still left of home plate. And the pop out back in the first was to Hillary Blomberg at third. Robinson, a drive towards right field, but the wind keeping things in play. That's how the inning will end, but not before Northwestern puts up 4. Northwestern up 9-0. The offense continuing to turn. It's Garden with some damage. Wildcats offense just continuing to bring runners in. 9-0 Northwestern after 3. Yeah, that ball really didn't have a chance.
This is the weirdest game.
Cats up 9-0 over the Badgers. We take a look at Yvette Healy, the head coach of Wisconsin. Her 15th season in charge. She's been to 6 NCAA tournaments. Now has her 8th 30-win season under her belt. So Wisconsin coming into the series 30 wins. You see the NCAA tournaments there, but this is a big year for her as this Wisconsin team is trying to prep up, trying to build a resume for a potential NCAA tournament run.
Absolutely, and also a homecoming in some sorts for her. She coached at Loyola and DePaul, went to DePaul, and is from Illinois itself. So definitely feeling more at home here. Wisconsin not that far from Illinois, obviously, but always fun for her to come and coach here and see some people she knows.
So back to the Badgers lineup. Brooke Cuffle coming back into things for Hannah Conger. Is excited, a little out in front of it. Down the left side.
Hit. It's been a while since they've been up to bat. You know, when you're in the field for a while and errors start happening, the only thing you can start thinking about is you want to rebound, you want to come back up to the plate, you want to hit, you want to be able to redeem yourself in some way. Not every game a player is going to be great on offense and defense, but when one element of the game isn't happening how you want it to, you need to come out even stronger on the other side, and she's definitely excited to do that on offense.
Boyd fires just inside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cuffle. Boyd's been good so far today. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed. No earned runs, obviously, with the 0 on the scoreboard. 3 strikeouts, no walks. Ball laced over to Avasado. Trouble at shortstop, so leadoff man aboard for the Badgers.
And the error bug isn't just Wisconsin, it's Northwestern too. And you have to imagine some of that. That's Avasado's 14th error of the season, but that comes with the shortstop position. Some hard balls get hit to you. They get hit in weird ways with weird spin. But I have to imagine that some of the errors and some of these errant throws and fielding issues, as you see here, just went off the tip of her glove, maybe popped off the heel, but have to be from the wind and from the cold. It's a little nippy out here. It's been warmer at Evanston lately, and so kind of a colder, windier day here. That could be affecting play.
It's the 14th error of the season for Avasado. Ties a team high with Donahue, who also has 14. It's the first error of the day for Northwestern. Wisconsin has 4.
It's been a tough day for everyone. It's cold. I wouldn't want to be sitting outside right now.
It's Emily Bojan at the dish for her second plate appearance. Big line drive towards center field off the top of the wall. It's Wisconsin with the extra base hit. Runner second and third now, no outs. And Lauren Boyd gives up a hit here. You got to wonder, with Northwestern up 9-0 and loud contact there, what does the leash look like for Boyd, especially with the rest of the weekend still to play?
Absolutely, just a really great piece of contact here, right on the barrel, takes it all the way out. I almost thought that one was going to be out of the park, but Ayanna Lindsay fielding it off the center field wall, doing a really good job squaring up her body to the wall. That's exactly what you want to do. And then throwing through the cutoff. Bridget Donahue was able to stop it at third. And that's what you're taught to do as an outfielder. Not throw to the cutoff, but throw right over their head. Ayana Lindsay, you saw her getting some high fives out there from Kania after. Just a really good job fielding cleanly. When the ball's hit to you and you can't make a play on it, you get it in as fast as you can, and she did a great job with that. Looks like there's a little bit of talking going on here, but Boyd being left in. But as you mentioned, Adam, you have to wonder how long she's going to be left in. There's still 2 more games in the series. Northwestern goes out to play UCLA after. There's a lot of softball to come for the Wildcats. And Renee Cunningham, it is Renee Cunningham now. It's not Blay anymore. But Renee Cunningham warming up in the bullpen. So you wonder how much longer Boyd will be left out with this 9-run lead.
So Eden Dempsey will get the pinch hit opportunity here for Ellie Hubbard after the double. Dempsey watches a first pitch strike for strike 1. Dempsey has seen sporadic usage so far this season, just batting .167. This is just her 3rd plate appearance in Big Ten play. It's a homer, 5 RBIs on the season. Her 4th season at Wisconsin.
Not used too often, hasn't started, but has had some appearances, as you mentioned. The senior getting a little opportunity here.
See the numbers there, 648 OPS. Runners 2nd and 3rd. Boyd fires. Dempsey over to Avasado at shortstop. She'll go to first to get the out, but Wisconsin on the board. Badgers pick up the first run of the day for them. The runner on 3rd now, 1 out.
That's definitely a play right there that tests Avasado. It's a soft grounder. It looks like an easy play, but that's a more mental play than it is physical play. Avasado had made the error before, wasn't sure what was happening, and just comes back to her again, is able to recover, make the play, not have an error this time, and just a really strong mental performance by the first year there to recover and say, hey, I got this, let me do what I do, and make the play and get the out.
So it's 9-hole hitter Danny Lucy, struck out earlier in this ball game back in the 2nd inning. Just 22 RBIs on the year. Shouldn't just say just 22, it's a decent amount. 7 homers, 22 RBIs. 254 batting average coming into today. 2 for 7 in the series against Minnesota. Pops this one over the infield. Robinson was going to come and get it, but Boyd will take it instead, and there's 2 away.
Boyd just covers so much ground, and I talked about earlier in the game how she was recruited as a 3rd baseman, but is a really good fielder, and to find that that's something that I'm impressed by every time I watch her play is just her ability to cover ground. Sometimes you have a pitcher who really only covers the circle, and as an infielder, it puts a lot of stress on you because you know that if there's a pop-up, if there's something, you need to be the one getting there. But when you know that Boyd fields, that's how you see the infield playing back. They're able to really reset and cover more ground because Boyd covers so much of the inner infield.
So it's back to the top of the lineup for Olivia Bark, first baseman. She's 1 for 2 so far today with a single and a ground out. Both balls she's put in play have been towards the right side. The ground out was over to Robinson at first. Wisconsin trying to get this to within 7. The runner on 3rd.
Also important for them to get it within 7 because the run rule, remember, is 8 after 5 innings. So here, that runner on 3rd is really important because right now Northwestern is still up 8. So if Wisconsin were to not score the next inning, it would then be called a run rule. So really important for Bark here. She's in a prime opportunity to keep Wisconsin in this game.
The 1-1. Just in there for strike 2. Boyd's come back after the loud hit to Bojan off the top of the center field wall. One ball, 2 strikes. Boyd trying to get out of this inning. Tapped over to Robinson, and that is how this inning will end. Olivia Bark grounds out to Kansas Robinson for the 2nd time this ballgame. Wisconsin picks up its first run of the day. Northwestern still in command, 9-1. I need to go to the bathroom so bad. It is.
Tickets start at just $10 for kids and $12 for adults. Get yours today at nusports.com/tickets.
Wildcats in command, 9-1, 9 runs off 9 hits for Northwestern. As we'll take a look at the Big Ten standings in terms of entering this weekend, and it's tight at the top. Northwestern at 12-4, Wisconsin at 10-9. There's a lot of mud to move through in the middle of these standings. Remember, top 12 teams make the Big Ten tournament.
And the top 4 get a bye in that tournament as well. So really important to look at. Northwestern had that series against Nebraska. Didn't exactly go the way they wanted, but that's definitely affected the standings. And they go out to UCLA in their next series next weekend to play them there.
So Lauren Saborski will get an opportunity here to pinch hit for Bridget Donahue. Donahue had a RBI single back in the first, walked and came around to score in the third.
Also some defensive changes here. Couple moves. Lewis was looking like just adjustments in the defense as well for Wisconsin.
It's been a game full of adjustments. Couple in right field, Lucy in center, Schlosser in left. From left to right in the infield, Blomberg, Hubbard, O'Brien at second base now, and Olivia Bark at first. A lot to keep track of. Saborski, first pitch strike to her. Talk about power in her bat. Only 18 career hits through her time at Evanston. 10 of them have come for extra bases.
Definitely a power hitter when she's given the opportunities, as you mentioned.
Lays off, pitch inside at the feet. It's 1-1 to Saborski. Hitting 167 on the year with a .310 on base percentage, .250 slugging. No homers, 3 RBIs. Did appear the game against UIC in the midweek. Swings through the 1-1.
Saborski, one of those seniors being honored in this series. It'll be honored on Sunday. She's been a big role for this Northwestern team, been along with them for a lot of ups and downs, has been with Kate Drohan and the whole team here, finally getting a chance at the plate.
1-2, clobbered to left field. Back, it's gone. A pinch hit home run for Lauren Saborski. It's 10-1 Northwestern.
Saborski knew that one was gone as soon as she hit it in the air. She put that hand up, circled it, knew she was coming home, and what a great feeling for the senior, really culminating her career in her last homestand at Northwestern.
Her first home run since 2023 here at the J. Saborski with some power. What an offensive performance for Northwestern. I mean, 10 runs, now have double-digit runs in 3 consecutive games.
We talked about power, but that was just an absolute jack. The power we've seen from her has usually come from doubles and other things like that, but adding another home run to her tally, as you mentioned, the first one since 2023, what a prime time for her to show up and have that opportunity.
Northwestern, a team with so much power, now 12 players with a home run this season. Only 10 had a home run last season in a year that Northwestern had 61 as a team. Looks like the Badgers are going to make a change in the circle, so we'll take a quick step aside here on Big Ten Plus. So it's Maddie Bellevue in the circle for Wisconsin as Cunha, a high drive, left field, just foul. Northwestern so close to back-to-back homers.
That was nearly identical to the same ball Saborski hit. Same place, same thing. Saborski's just managed to stay a little bit more fair, but absolute jack here. You see all the power behind it, gets her hips engaged, gets that whip with her arms, that elbow comes through perfectly, just sends it all the way ricocheting out to left field, but just a little bit too foul.
And that's the power Izzy Cunha has as she watches a ball upstairs. Evens the count, 1-1 strike. Cunha just won a home run this season after hitting 5 blasts last year. Doesn't have a home run in her last 24 games entering today, but she has power. Had a double in the series against Rutgers, pair of RBIs as well. Went 4 for 7 against the Scarlet Knights.
And definitely has been swinging a hot bat, as you mentioned. Even though those home runs haven't been showing up, has been putting the ball in play, and oftentimes that's more important than those home runs. Those home runs, yeah, they put a run on the board, but being able to move runners around like she did earlier in this game, picking up those 2 RBIs, that's what really counts, especially for a team like Northwestern, where the whole lineup can hit.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Cunha as well. Take a look at Bellevue. 13.36 ERA. The whip higher than she would have liked, but mostly because of an inflated outing against Indiana earlier this month. Hasn't pitched in 13 days. Cunha slaps it right back up the middle, just off the glove of the second baseman. That's O'Brien over there at second base now. Wisconsin's danced with its lineup all game long.
A bunch of defensive switches. We've seen everyone sub in. O'Brien just a little bit off her glove there, but set up the right way, got her glove out. Looks like it just bounced. You also have to expect there's spin on this ball. This ball, you see it kind of curving and turning there, and then it goes into center, just off it. Not too far off her glove, just a little bit, just out of the way where Cunha was able to get to first base.
Ray, one of 2 Wildcats in the starting lineup that have not reached base safely. It's her and Kansas Robinson. Robinson has put the ball in play, though. Ray has struck out twice.
Going back to Bellevue for a second, hasn't pitched that much this season, and that also could be part of that inflated ERA. She's only had 6 appearances thus far.
Just pitched 3 2/3 innings. Ray lays off. She went, I guess, as the call down to the first base umpire. It's Vince Price manning first base today. Jim Bertuzzi behind the dish. Michael Hers at third base. I guess now he's behind second base.
He's moving all around.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ray. Hammers one high drive towards center field, but more of a wedge shot as the center fielder coming in on it to make the grab.
Definitely higher than it was far, but still a good piece of hitting. Got her barrel under, just a little bit too under the ball, but still powerful, sent it way up in the air.
So Lucy makes the play in center, and there's 1 away. Lindsay, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI, 2 runs scored, is not here batting in this spot. This will be, looks to be Kate Dowden, who has been fantastic in some pinch hit opportunities. Dowden, the first year, just 8 plate appearances in 10 games so far this season, but she has made the most of them. 429 batting average, 500 on base percentage. Has an RBI, no homers, double, and a triple. That triple coming against Loyola Chicago.
Dowden's a first year, but not too far into this team. She grew up playing in the same conference as Kansas Robinson, so has played alongside some Northwestern players and definitely has gotten comfortable here with the Cats.
Dowden lays off. Dowden also at speed, too, which, you might not have been able to see a ton of this year just because of limiting playing opportunities. But that triple that she legged out against Loyola Chicago, I mean, she was moving for that. So 2 balls, no strikes to Dowden. Chops this one slowly towards the left side, and there's the speed. Reaches first. Throw is off the mark, so Cunha will advance to third. Runners at the corners now as Lauren Curry with an opportunity here, pinch hitting for Avery Garden.
And a heads-up play by Bark there as well to tag her at first, just thinking she might have turned and just trying to see if she could get the out there. But as you mentioned, Adam, that speed, absolutely killer. Forces the throw too fast, and Hubbard throws a little bit too much to the right and helps the runner advance.
It feels like with the way that Northwestern has played this year, they might really lean on Kate Dowden down the stretch, especially with the base stealing, with the emphasis on putting balls in play and stolen bases and speed on the base paths. It just feels like she is a match made in heaven with this construction of Northwestern's lineup.
Absolutely. It makes so much sense why she was recruited here, why she's playing here. She fits Kate Drohan's model of softball exactly, and that's exactly why she's doing well here, and it will look to be a huge piece of this team in the future as more and more people graduate. But speaking of seniors, Lauren Curry.
So Dowden picks up her first hit of the day in the pinch hit opportunity, as that will be ruled a single to the shortstop. Lauren Curry now at the dish with an opportunity.
Lauren Curry picked up her first career hit on Wednesday, April 16th versus Loyola Chicago, and also her first RBI.
An RBI knock. It's hit by a pitch against Mississippi State. She's seen a couple of pinch hit opportunities in recent weeks just with the way that Northwestern has been playing, putting up so many runs that Kate Drohan has gone deeper into her lineup, given some other players some opportunities. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just off the edge. Dowden trying to steal second. The throw in time. So, nice job by Wells behind the dish. Tabs her 11th base runner off the base paths this year.
And that's just Wells saying, hey, I know the game's getting a little out of hand.
I still got an arm back here.
Yeah, don't steal on me. That was a perfect throw. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your catcher, just a laser. Picked up really well by Hubbard there. Easy tag to lay down. Doesn't matter how fast Dowden is. Wells is faster.
Curry, big swing and a miss for strike.
Good-looking swing, though. But sometimes when you're a pinch hitter who doesn't get that many opportunities, obviously wants to make the most of this moment and made the most of her moment against Loyola, but can be a little scary sometimes because you come in and you don't get that many opportunities, so you really want to take advantage of those that you do have.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and there's strike 3 looking. Northwestern puts up just 1 in this inning, but have scored in every single inning so far. It was the Lauren Saborski laser to left. Saborski picks up her first home run in 2 seasons. Cats cruising here in Evanston. Back to action here. Northwestern up 10-1, trying to close things out in the top of the 5th, up 9 runs. See Lauren Boyd there. She's been fantastic for the Cats today, and the Wildcats have been awesome here in Big Ten play.
Absolutely. I mean, Northwestern's really come into their own in conference play. Started a little bit slower on the season than they usually do, but that ERA really low, batting average against. This Northwestern pitching staff has been absolutely unbelievable. Lauren Boyd, obviously, as we've mentioned, the head of it, but Renee Cunningham also important, Riley Grunzalonic, just all these other pitchers contributing and forming this really excellent staff.
Schlosser wanted to lay down a bunt. Strike 1.
Didn't pull the bat head down, and that's why the strike went in. But this is a really important opportunity here for Wisconsin. With the run rule in play, if at the end of this half inning, Wisconsin is still down 8 or more, the game will end.
So Schlosser behind, 0-1. Blomberg on deck, Lewis in the hole. Dangerous part of Wisconsin's lineup. Schlosser lays off.
Definitely who you want to have if you're Wisconsin in this situation, absolutely.
Boyd through 4 innings, 5 hits allowed. The 1 run unearned. 3 strikeouts. He's also hit a batter, but no walks.
And the hit batter was close, remember. It wasn't some, like, crazy errant pitch.
It hasn't been the smoothest game from her, but she's just locked in and done her job. Remember, early stranding 5 base runners in the first 2 innings. Trying to close things out here. The 1-2, just off the edge, ball 2. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes to the left fielder.
And a good pitch there. That's what Boyd's looking to do. She's trying to go for those chase pitches. She's done such a good job with them all day. And there again, especially with the pitcher's count, you want to try and get Schlosser to swing on something that is way out of the zone.
2-2 from Boyd. Schlosser pummels left side off of Donahue. That's hard contact. Schlosser going to try and go to second. The throw just not in time. Close play at second base, but Schlosser putting some life in the Badgers' order.
That was a ridiculously good throw. A great job by Schlosser, being heads up, knowing, hey, I have to leg this out, getting to first, and then seeing that the ball went off Donahue and changing for second. See here, just a hard piece of hitting. Donahue goes off her glove, rolls over. Avasado comes over and makes a great throw. Right there, looks like the tag was just there, but Schlosser able to really speed it out, leg it out, get there, and that's the importance of showing hustle the whole time. If she had slowed down even earlier on, it wouldn't have happened.
Blomberg, drive to left on the top of Welsh Ryan Arena. Blomberg with a Badger blast. This game's going to continue. It's just a 7-run ball game now.
Absolutely unbelievable piece of hitting for Blomberg, and she joins a very elite club of people who have hit a ball over Welsh Ryan. There's only a certain number of Wildcats that have done it, and even less when it comes to other teams. They don't play here all the time, but Blomberg in elite company with an absolute bomb over and brings the Wisconsin back into this game. No more run rule in effect.
Just the 4th home run that Lauren Boyd has allowed. You see a replay of it there. Blomberg has that kind of power. She's been so good in Big Ten play with the home runs. 8 of now 11 home runs on the year have come in Big Ten play. Up to 37 RBIs on the year. The power for Blomberg and also the power for Kendra Lewis have been on display this season for Wisconsin.
And interesting, no indication, no one in the bullpen, no indication here from Kate Drohan about a pitching change, but Boyd is at 70 pitches and just gave up 2 pieces of really hard contact, one of which was an absolute bomb. You got to be thinking, how long is Boyd staying in this game?
Pitch up and in on Lewis. 2 balls, no strikes. 10-3 the score here in Evanston. Northwestern's put up runs in every single inning so far, but the Badgers have answered back with a run in the 4th and now 2 in the 5th to keep this game within 7 runs. Wildcats still have an opportunity to walk things off in the bottom of the 5th if they can put up a run. That's assuming no more scores for Wisconsin. But the Badgers' power, have just found a way to keep things interesting. 3 balls, 1 strike now. This is a Wisconsin team that's now hit 48 home runs. The 47 home runs coming today were the 5th most in program history. Year after they had the 2nd most home runs in program history last year. A 3-1 in there for strike 2.
And now there's some action in the Northwestern bullpen. Looks like Signe Dose is warming up. So that's the 3rd different Northwestern pitcher that we've seen warm up in that bullpen. Looks like they're getting everyone warm just in case.
Payoff pitch from Boyd. Nice line out for the Wildcats. It was Avasado at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, had to put up her glove so it didn't smack her in the face. But yeah, absolutely a really good placement there, ready for the ball, and just had to put her glove up and make that catch. But for Wisconsin, it seems like in games, the magic number is usually 6. They're 21-1 when they score 6+ runs. And obviously, 6 runs won't necessarily do it here, as you see the hard line out that almost, I think, might have went off Boyd's glove. And Avasado, a really good job tracking it. Boyd's really excited about that one. She's like, thank goodness that didn't go into the outfield. But Wisconsin, 6 won't do it here, but normally 6 is their magic number.
They'll need at least 10 to see this game go into, obviously, extra innings. 11 to put some pressure on the Wildcats, but still a lot of softball to be played left. But the big thing was the home run that essentially extends this game. Wells lays off. 1 ball, 1 strike to the catcher.
And of course the home run came from Blomberg. We were talking about her all game. We talked about her in the beginning, but what a play from the sophomore, just to be able to step up in a big spot, get Wisconsin back into this game. I mean, single-handedly, she's brought this game back together.
Yeah, 7 home runs in Big Ten play. We're tied for the second most in program history. So now 8 home runs in Big Ten play. Talk about a player that's just been so big for this Wisconsin team over the past years. Just a sophomore as well, was a 2024 All-Big Ten first team honoree, a 2024 All-Big Ten freshman team honoree by unanimous decision. And just a player that is now central to this Wisconsin lineup, really to the future of this Wisconsin softball squad.
And Wisconsin is a pretty young squad. They have 8 freshmen on the team, so definitely looking to build on that. Half the team is underclassmen, so pretty even there. But just in terms of first years on this team, definitely a lot of those, and looking to get them experience for future seasons.
And Boyd's pitcher just doesn't really give up home runs, too. A little bit surprising. This ball is bashed towards left field, just hooking foul, though. Wells a hair in front of it, else that would have been more extra bases for the Badgers. And gotta wonder about, in terms of the leash for Boyd, what it looks like. Mentioned Signe Dose warming up.
And you mentioned the home runs, Adam, but that's only the second home run that Boyd's allowed in Big Ten play. Only 4 on the whole season. So Boyd really not a pitcher that gives up home runs, but when she does, they're usually big bombs like that.
The 2 that came in non-con play were in the same game against Mississippi State. So just the 3rd game of the season she's allowed a long ball. The 1-2. Hit foul. Do it again. And as we said, at the top of this inning, like, this is the part of Wisconsin's order that you would want if you're a Badger fan to keep this game alive.
And the top half of the core of this lineup has performed in this inning. Looking for Wells to continue that, and then Kuffel and Bojan coming up after.
1-2 outside for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Wells. For a Northwestern team that 5 games coming in just allowed 2 runs. Already have allowed 3. But still, the scoring margin in the last 6 games will not upset any Wildcat fans, including today. 55-5. 55 runs for the Wildcats, 5 runs allowed. Ball hit softly over to Avasado. A little trouble with it. The throw to first off the mark. So the Badgers continuing to put runners on the base paths, putting pressure on Northwestern's defense. That's what Northwestern's done so well today, just making defense make plays. Now Wisconsin taking a little bit of Northwestern's own medicine.
Absolutely. We saw in the last inning, as we mentioned, that soft grounder that was hit to Avasado last time, able to get around the mental gymnastics of it, but this one seemed to get the better of her. But that's also what happens. She's a first year, hasn't had that much play. We talk about how poised she is at the plate and how well she's been doing, but in the field, it definitely takes time to adjust, and you also see that on the errant throw. She makes the play, the runner's already there, there's no need to be throwing that ball, but she was trying to muscle it out, and a little bit off. Luckily, did hit the backstop, hit the dugout, and the runner didn't advance at all, but just settling into that position at short. She takes on a big position there, captain of the infield, has to settle down, make those plays, and not throw the ball away.
So Mackenzie Foster is the pinch runner at first base for Emmy Wells, Syracuse transfer in her first year at Wisconsin, the sophomore. Kuffel back to the dish now. Reached on an error last time out.
Interesting enough, was an error to Avasado as well. So those errors today for Northwestern, 2 of them have both come to Avasado on softer hit balls.
Upstairs for a ball. And how difficult is that, as a shortstop, obviously? You're expecting sometimes hard hit balls. That one, it almost felt like it was too slow and she tried to rush it.
Absolutely. I mean, those are almost the worst ones. It's easy when the ball just comes to you and you just rely on your reaction time to make the play, because before you even know it, the play's over and you don't realize. But it's a lot harder when that ball's so much slower. You have to really think about it. You have to think about, okay, how am I going to set up for this ball? How am I going to field it? What if it goes off my glove? Where's my throw going to be? It's just, there's so much more that goes into making a slow play than goes into making a fast play. And that's why a lot of players, when they play short and then transition to third, they actually find third base a lot easier, because you're only relying on reactions purely.
Too much time to think. 1-2 just off the edge. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kuffel.
It's also why that's such a natural change, as we saw Donahue do that this past season, the change from short to third. But it's so natural for the left side of the infield to be so fluid, and especially for someone to move from shortstop to third.
2 balls, 2 strikes. High chopper, left side. Nice play by Avasado to get the out at second. The throw not in time. Robinson doing the splits.
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. If I had done that, I would have hurt myself severely, but I'm glad that she could do that. That was absolutely unbelievable. Was definitely at the peak of her leap when she caught it and then was able to go down into the split. Northwestern's turned 12 double plays this season. Would have been 13. Good job by Avasado taking control there. We mentioned her being a first year, but looks like there will be a review here to see if Kansas's split was enough to get the out. But we've mentioned Avasado being a first year, but just really good poise there in the field to rebound after that error and take advantage, not be shy or meek at all, and just go ahead and make that play.
Get a look at it here. High chopper. Avasado doing a great job to step on the bag at second, and that's a close play. Once again, happy that I'm not in charge of ruling this.
The ruling this game has been really hard. I feel bad for whoever's doing stats.
Northwestern in control, 10-3. Did allow that 2-run shot, though, that effectively kept this game going.
This, if reversed and called an out, would be the end of the inning or the end of the half inning, but looks like it was very close on field, so they'd have to find definitive evidence.
They're going to take a look at this. They'll get a... So she will be indeed safe, which I feel like it probably looked like that. It was definitely close at first, definitely maybe worth looking over.
And whenever they come out that early, they go in and do a pretty quick call, and the umpires, yeah, you know.
So Emily Bojan, the pinch hitter, getting an opportunity here. She has had an at-bat earlier in this game. Actually, technically the DP, as Wisconsin's kind of flipped through this entire lineup.
I feel like at this point everyone's played every position.
Yeah, Bojan
honestly.
2 for 2 with a single and a double. Single coming in the second, the double in the fourth. Pitch in there for strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike to Bojan. Looks like Hubbard has re-entered. She's in the on-deck circle. Remember, Eden Dempsey was the pinch hitter for her. So Wisconsin lineup unafraid to use the depth of its bats.
Hubbard was hit for, but never came out of the field. Has been at shortstop the entire game as well. So just a little more confusion to add to the day. I can't even imagine what your scorecard looks like right now.
It's ugly. It's pretty ugly. Two balls, 1 strike. Bojan turns away from a pitch inside for ball 3.
And Bojan, as we mentioned earlier, leads the team in walks. She has 18. So someone who sees the ball really well, knows the dimensions of the plate, and is able like that to turn things into walks. Here, 3-1.
3-1. Upstairs for ball 4. So the first walk of the day for Lauren Boyd. And now it's 2 on with 2 outs for Ellie Hubbard.
Number 21, Ellie Hubbard.
Hubbard reached earlier on a fielder's choice, but then ended up getting out at second later on in the second inning.
First pitch to Hubbard, a strike. No balls, 1 strike. Did pick up a RBI, or that was actually Eden Dempsey who picked up the RBI batting for Hubbard in the 4th inning.
Great pitch there.
Strike to Hubbard, I think 2.
Just painted that outside corner really well. Good job by Emma Ray behind the plate to frame it, but honestly didn't even need that much framing. Just a beauty of a pitch from Boyd.
2 on, 2 outs, nothing into the count here in the top of the 5th. Boyd trying to strand a pair of base runners just off the edge.
And we keep mentioning, Adam, when will Boyd come out? When will Boyd come out? Here in the top of the fifth, she's thrown nearly 100 pitches, and Signe Dose is no longer in the bullpen. No one warming up. So you have to wonder if that means those Northwestern pitchers are warm or if Kate Drohan just doesn't want to put anyone else in.
The 1-2. Soft contact, but it gets through the middle of the defense. Lindsay will throw home. Ray applies the tag. What a defensive play from Northwestern center fielder and catcher teaming up for the out. Ayanna Lindsay showing the arm talent.
Just a great play, and heads up by Boyd, too, to not cut that off. Sometimes that's hard if you see the ball coming right at you, but again, that's another throw by Lindsay. Just great play right there.
And indeed, they are going to take a look at it, as it feels like every play in this game has had an official review. I mean, we are through 4, and I guess we'll call it 4.5 innings. This game started over 2 hours ago.
Yeah, it's been definitely a long game, a lot of twists and turns, but one thing that's been steady, Ayanna Lindsay, so good in center field, and that's why Kate Drohan loves her so much on defense. We've seen her come into her own on offense, too, in conference play in the last couple games of the season, few games, but especially in center, she's been there since her freshman year. She's been a great part of this Northwestern defense.
She has been so impactful. Normally, it's using her speed or her glove out in center field in terms of making highlight reel catches, but that time showcasing the arm talent. I mean, this ball was yanked just off the glove of Nito. She couldn't quite get there. And this throw, I mean, just great on the money.
So good. And the tag by Ray, too, the awareness of where exactly that runner was going to be. You see the slide here, just right in there, is able to lay down the tag. Here you see her catch it, able to bring her glove over to the other side, not blocking the plate, allowing that lane for the runner, but still cutting it off, and Cuffle just couldn't slide through it.
This is interesting because it almost looks like Ray went for the back leg, and potentially that back leg might have actually come down on home plate before Ray actually applied the tag. That is a lot closer than it looked like at first glance.
Definitely. I mean, the more we look at it, the more it seems why it's under review, and it could be at first. When I first saw it happen, I was like, oh, definitely out. Excellent. Ayanna Lindsay, great throw, but definitely looks a little bit more complicated now, and the umpire's still in there taking a look.
You did mention, though, Ray doing a nice job not blocking the plate, because that's really tough for a catcher. You almost instinctively want to kind of get in front of home plate to have a better position for the tag, but Ray did a nice job to stay right of the plate. And then it's just a question of, did that tag come in time, as looks like that right leg is really the one that is the decision factor. This is a lengthy review here, so definitely taking a good glance at this.
Not as quick as the last one where we knew what the answer was going to be. But as a catcher, too, you see Ray getting back, Lauren Boyd throwing some more pitches. But
get a decision here. She is indeed out. You see the celebrations from Northwestern's infielders. Emma Ray pumped up the Wildcats. 10-3 lead heading into the bottom of the fifth, needing a run to end this thing. (10-3) Northwestern in front, but two huge runs coming across the plate in the top of the fifth, courtesy of Hillary Blomberg. The nuke to left field got all of that and some on the top of Welsh Ryan Arena. Badgers, just a squad that just hasn't been run-ruled. It almost refuses to be run-ruled, as Blomberg's 8th home run in Big Ten play, 11th on the season. Just huge for this Badger team in terms of extending this game, as Northwestern with an opportunity, though, to potentially still run rule. This is a Wisconsin team that, though, averages about 6.6 innings per game, so a team that's not really ever going to run rule teams. but also a team that doesn't really get run ruled either.
Absolutely. Only one time this season have they been run rolled, and you just see the fight, and that's how you know a team is well coached, when they don't give up. It's easy to say, hey, we're down so much, we've been making errors, it hasn't been our game, let's just roll over. But something that this Badgers team is not willing to do. Blomberg comes out with fire, and they're back in the field trying to stop Northwestern from scoring this one run.
It'll be a tough ask, though, with the top of the lineup for the Wildcats. Nito, Nader, Avasado. As Bellevue, first pitch upstairs, ball 1. Nito has reached twice, once on an error, so technically 1 for 3 today, with a single back in the first. Ball low and away for ball 2.
And Nito, Nader, and Avasado, we've said it all day, but there's such a lethal combo. Just this is not who you want to be facing if you're Wisconsin. It's like the beginning of the game. You're just seeing the top of the lineup again, and so scary.
This is the start of the 4th time through the order for Wisconsin's pitchers.
And the fact that it's only the 5th, and it tells you that, tells you what kind of a game this has been.
This ball slapped left side. Nice play by Blomberg. Beautiful throw, and 1 up, 1 down. Nito
Blomberg
retired.
doing it all on offense, on defense, making sure. She's part of the reason she's saying, hey, we're not going to get run ruled again. Watch this. We're going to keep ourselves in the game.
So Kelsey Nader to the dish. Singled back in the 3rd. Now on a 3-game hit streak after being hitless in 2 straight. Nader watches a first pitch outside, ball 1.
Nader single her last time up to shortstop. Remember that slow grounder that got through and she was able to get on first.
The 1-0. In there for a strike. Pretty sure that hit the home plate umpire,
so too.
Jim Bertuzzi.
Yeah, that can't feel good.
He seems fine.
Yeah, I mean, they have all that padding on their stomach. It's like abs of steel, but even so.
So 1 ball, 1 strike to Nader. Three homers on the season. Does have power, just haven't seen a ton of it. Pops it foul behind home plate.
And you can tell there's definitely some frustration there for Nader. She was a little annoyed that she hit that one there. She wants to be making hard, solid contact in the field. And as we mentioned, such a disciplined hitter who's good at putting the ball in play and slaps a lot, but here see her hitting, and she wants to be able to put that ball in play hard.
Scored the first run of the game for Northwestern back in the 1st after reaching on an error. Ball upstairs for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Nader. You mentioned how just talented of a hitter she has. Entered today, obviously leading Northwestern's lineup in on-base percentage, 3rd on the team in average, 2nd in OPS, 3rd in hits, top 3 in pretty much everything. Most impressively, 1st in walks. Pops one foul again. It's also impressive because last year, Nader was a player that didn't really get super deep into counts. Just an 8.6% walk rate, a 6.3% strikeout rate last year. And although the strikeout rate has almost doubled, the walk rate up to 18% on the year.
She's definitely just more poised at the plate. Yes, there's more strikeouts, but making the pitcher work longer is something that's really hard to do.
2-2, belted left field, slicing foul, and just running out of real estate down the left field line.
Definitely see some of the power there, though. I mean, almost managing to go all the way down to the fence. So has those, those smaller fly pop-ups just behind home plate, but they're also able to take one deeper.
Molly Schlosser's had to make a couple of those types of plays today where she's had to run. But the wind, it's blowing kind of parallel to that left field wall in from right field. Kind of just swirling out in center. Guess that's what happens when you're just north of the Windy City.
Lake Michigan doesn't help either.
Full count to Nader. It's Avasado on deck, Robinson in the hole. Bellevue fires. This ball rocketed into right field. Just off the top of the wall. Nader extra bases. She's on to second, and she'll stay there.
It looks like that ball was almost going to clear the fence, and that's what we talk about when we talk about a good piece of hitting. That was just so solid. Got her hips into it, got her hands into it, everything lined up right, was able to get the whip on the ball, and that ball had so much power. The exit velocity on that ball, I can't even imagine, but you see everything comes together. That bat head just hangs in the zone for just long enough, takes that ball out, hit like the second panel over there from the right field line, and looked like that almost would have gone over the field, over the fence, and was just a straight line drive.
Yeah, there was a real chance for that ball to get out. And especially with how the wind is today, with it blowing, if you keep the ball low, it's almost like a stinger out there. Get some good distance on it as Nader will pick up that double. So a multi-hit game for her, 13th on the season, led the Wildcats with over 20 multi-hit games last year.
I remember Nader is the winning run here.
Avasado, big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So the implications for that's such an interesting implication, because if that ball had gone over, that would have been a walk-off home run.
Avasado drive towards center. It's over the head of Lucy. That should do it. The tag not in time at second base, and Nader comes home. Northwestern walks it off. The Wildcats, another run rule victory. That's 3 in a row as Avasado brings Nader home. 11-3 the final after 5.
And honestly, tried to go for the tag at second, but it wouldn't even have mattered. No matter what Nader was scoring, she was coming around, touched the plate. Northwestern wins by 8 in a run rule victory after 5.
Avasado, the power of her bat, the big-time double, Nader coming home. It was just Northwestern finding a way to score runs. Early in this game was putting the ball in play. Later in the game, we saw a little bit more of the power, the Saborski solo shot in the 4th, and then back-to-back extra base knocks from Nader and Avasado to tally 1 in the 5th. Northwestern putting up runs in every single inning through 5. This is a Wildcats team that has just been fantastic of late. Now have won 6 in a row, and their 12th straight win over the Badgers.
And also really helpful for Big Ten implications, for after-season implications. But you see there the really important part, those errors. 5 errors for Wisconsin, 2 for Northwestern, and that's really where things differ.
So Lauren Boyd able to just do enough. Northwestern's bats so productive. The Wildcats take the first of a 3-game set here in Evanston. Really critical games, though, coming up tomorrow and Sunday here on Big Ten Plus. For everybody in Anderson Hall, for Zoe Alter, I've been Adam Beck. Thanks for tuning in. Northwestern wins this one 11-3 after 5.